why don't we do a podcast about creating a theatre company?
I wasn't sure then whether that was the date or the name of the play.
We don't want to be in competition with any of the groups that are already out there. I know it is amateur theatre. All very, very talented people.
Yeah. The more exposure you can get to everyone, the better.
Hi, welcome to Real Theatre Productions, the podcast. How are you doing this week?
Alright, you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's very hot.
Very warm.
Very warm.
You can probably hear the birds chirping and stuff.
I
Because
know.
we've had to open the doors on the summer house. It is roasting.
Yeah.
It's like a little sauna in here.
Yeah. So our 3 reviews all went out this week.
Yay!
Yeah, everyone really enjoyed watching.
So you're nearly like in real time now.
Yeah, hopefully next week
will
be in real time, where we'll release this on a Monday or a Friday, and that'll be whatever we talk about will be the week.
Yeah, like current
That
affairs.
was the dream.
Yeah, we're living your dream.
Oh, no. Well, we've got our first interview today.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Sorry, how's your week? I've been totally selfish there going, yeah, it's all right.
No,
I
it's
didn't ask
fine.
you.
Don't worry about
Didn't
me.
ask
It's
you.
fine. Don't worry about it. So we've got our very first podcast interview via
some weird and wonderful
by computer link.
Yeah, at the Eurovision.
I've been proper like looking for days.
Yeah.
About finding out what would be the best way to do this, because we haven't got enough room here to have someone in to interview. So
and everybody would be assaulted by the dogs as well.
Yes, definitely. They get really excited. So we went through FaceTime, Zoom, other bits like that. So I did a bit of internet searching, and we found a website that's going to hopefully, touch wood, do it for us. So we're going to try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's a learning curve.
Of course it is.
It is.
So yes, that's tonight. So it's exciting. We've got a list of not questions, but things that we want to make sure we cover.
Bullet points.
That's it.
Bullet points.
So exciting.
Yeah. All right. So
next dream.
Yeah. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Rob Littler from VML.
Thanks, Mike and Louise. Nice to be chatting to you.
It's lovely to have you as our first guest.
Oh, am I the first?
You're the first, yeah.
That's me, pioneer. You see, that's my.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about how VML became VML?
Yeah, it's a bit of a kind of a well-worn story now, really. But I always had an ambition for the art, and my mum and dad had no money when I was a kid. They were both disabled, so I ended up doing a politics. I ended up working in the House of Commons for 4 years as a research assistant, and then I put myself through music and drama school and did it that way. So that when I had kids, I realised that there was a lot of children and young people, and indeed adults, as it turned out, that fall through the net because they've never had the means, and some of them are disabled, some of them lack confidence. So it was about starting a charity whereby it was access for all and everybody can have a go, and and we will take people and develop them, and that's how it started. It's grown a lot since those early days, though. To now it's a proper full-on limited company and charity, and we've got a lot of responsibility in the community with the profit we make doing various things in well-being and for isolated adults and choirs for pensioners and that sort of thing.
I noticed before that VML was actually a limited company. I was wondering, is that the only theatre company that's limited in our area? I've never noticed it.
I don't know. I mean, we're a registered charity as well. I mean, the thing is, if you're going to form a charity, you need to protect your trustees. So if you limit the company, it means if we suddenly, not that it would ever happen because I'm far more careful than that, if we suddenly end up with massive debts and we had to fold, then each of my trustees are limited to just £10 each. And that's basically what it means. So it protects them so that they know they can be trustees of the charity without actually worrying that they're going to end up in debt if everything goes, belly up. It won't, because I've never worked in the red, and I never would. I wouldn't do it through loans. I'm not that stupid. I've got a family to think of as well. I don't want to leave debts with my wife.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, no, none of us want that.
Yeah, and as you know as well as I do, Mike, theatres even community theatre. See, I never say amateur theatre. No. Because I think a lot of what we do in the community, not just VML, but other groups that would be classed as amateur because they don't pay their actors and singers. I say community theatre because that's what it is. the only difference between what we do and what the professional companies do is that we don't pay the actors. They pay us to take part.
So when did VML first start? How many years ago was that?
2007 now, so we've been around for 17 years. It started off as an after-school group, Victoria School Music Group, because my children were in Victoria Road School in Runcorn, and I started a after-school music group, and it became clear after about a year, and all the children's friends wanted to come and take part on the Friday evenings, and they couldn't because the school had no lettings policy. So I went and got a grant from Halton Housing and from the council's area forum and took it into the community so that anyone could come along. And that's how the children's group started. But at the same time, I was the facilitator, the freelance facilitator for Vocalise at the Brindley Theatre. So I had the Vocalise group, voice coaching, vocal performance coaching adults. And when it was clear that the money was drying up with the council, because they ended up closing down all the arts development stuff at the Brindley anyway, that I thought, well, VML's going to have to absorb that. So we ended up quite by accident with all these adults then who wanted something. But that came much later than Halton Community Artists, Mike, when you first got involved with me. If you remember when we did the first Magic of the Musicals, I'd gone out as VML, but gone to like West Bank Drama, Split Ends, all these drama groups, said, look, I want to put on a big show at the Brindley. I want to showcase what's happening in this community, in the arts. And everybody got involved, and we did this big showcase. And we made a lot of friends. Yeah.
Was that the one where I did Fagin?
It was, and it was actually going to be mine, Fagin. Do you remember?
I remember,
originally. And then I collapsed and had emergency surgery like 10 days before the performance. And they said, you're not going on stage. I was like, I've rehearsed it for a year, and you ended up doing it in the end, yeah. So I nicked Scrooge back off you last year.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
How many members have you got in VML?
See, we don't do members with VML. This is the point, because VML is a charity and an access for all charity. Nobody are members as such. They are participants. So in that sense, they become the service users of what we have to offer. So that those who can afford to, say, pay will make a donation to the charity, a weekly donation of, the suggested donation is £5. It's a suggested donation for those who can afford to pay. Those who struggle and anyone under 21 don't pay anything. That's the point of the charity. So they're not members, but I would say we've probably got, in terms of performers at the moment, we've probably got about 50 if you split between the young people, the adults, and the drama and the music. And then you've got the choirs that I run in Warrington and things like that, so they can be added on. And then the younger people as well. So there's a lot of people accessing VML. And do you know what's really making it kind of more popular? I think we've spent 17 years building an audience, building a following, so we do tend to get a good audience. Macbeth was an exception in the sense that I never expected that to sell out, because Shakespeare is niche in working class areas. It really is. And that's not to say that working class people don't understand it. It's just not their cup of tea in areas like Runcorn. It's horses for courses, and they tend to go to Shakespeare North then. But that doesn't mean to say that we shouldn't do it. So I'm up to about probably my 60th production now since we started.
Wow.
And of the classics, and my love is turning toward drama more and more now and away from music. It's so much so that after the big show in September, you can't stop the music, and there'll be a couple of tickets for you too if you want them.
Lovely, thank you very much.
September, a couple of complimentary tickets for your the free publicity you're giving us on Macbeth. So please remember that, and I'll be in touch with Mike. I'll put them behind in your name. So once we've done that, I'm moving away from music for a bit. I'm taking a break, and I'm going to go fully into drama, because we've done so many classics since before lockdown. We did a full production of The Crucible, Hamlet, Streetcar Named Desire, Blithe Spirit, which I directed, what's the other one? The Importance of Being Earnest. We've done Macbeth. Did Frankenstein. And we did The Rise and Fall of Little Voice. These are all class. And Bouncers we did twice with the lads. And we're going to do it again eventually because those lads were brilliant in it. But I think the difference between VML and, say, other groups is we're not scared of touching the classics, because you can go terribly wrong with classic drama, classic literature, because people know it and they know what to expect, and they've seen it on film or they've been to a professional theatre and seen it. So if you don't do it justice, they know you're gonna end up with they're not coming back. And I think we do. I think we do a really, really good job with classic drama, and we've had some good stuff. So that's where plus also new drama. The year before, in 2019, just before we locked down, we went to see a play. Adam, Claire, Darren, and I went to see a play called Masquerade in the Royal Court, and I fell in love with this so much. It was about a young guy. It was a true story. The writer's uncle was he was hiding his sexuality during the AIDS crisis in 1984, and his best mate died of AIDS, and all the shame that went with it, and the bullying of gay people. And it really spoke to me on an emotional level, because I'd been around and I had a lot of friends in them days who were gay and who were going through it. So I messaged Laura, the writer, after we saw the play, and said, look, if this isn't going anywhere, can I do it? And she gave me the permission to do it in the studio in Widnes for World AIDS Day. So we did 2 performances of that on World AIDS Day and gave the profits to Sahir House HIV charity in Liverpool. And that was fresh drama, but we made people go away in absolute tears. And for me, that was a real triumph, because it's hard enough to make people laugh, let alone go away crying. Ryan, who played Macbeth, he played Mike, who was Laura's uncle, the writer's real uncle. And on the first night he did it, the real Mike was in the audience to watch him do it.
Oh, wow.
And that's a scary thing for any actor to do. You're playing a real person, he's sitting there watching you. But it went down really well.
Did he comment on it at the end?
No, what I did was I knew he was in that night, because I'd become friends with the writer. I knew he was in, so I said to Ryan, I went over to Mark. His name's Mark. He was called Mike in the play, but his real name is Mark. Yeah. I said to him, can you come and meet the lad who's playing you, because he's really quite nervous. And he come over into the corner, took Ryan aside, gave him a big hug, and said, look, whatever it is, it's going to be brilliant. And it really was, and he was really impressed with it. So yeah, my challenge was then during lockdown was to keep VML going, because nobody was doing anything. Theatre shut down, and we went to see. I went to see Endgame with Daniel Radcliffe and Alan Cumming in the theatre in London. I can't remember which theatre it was now, but then it closed the next day because of COVID. So for me, it was about how do we keep this going, and we did it online. We did everything we did online, and we did script read-throughs. I wrote Love and Lies in Lockdown, which went out every week as a weekly series. We filmed over Zoom. And these are all online if you ever want to go and have a nose.
Definitely. I'll never know that.
Yeah. We did Scars, Love and Lies in Lockdown. People were sending us donations because they were really enjoying it, and they were waiting for the next week's one. It's always a duff ending, you know. Yeah. Just to keep things going, really. And that was the biggest challenge, because I didn't want to come back and have everything sort of to start again, really. Yeah. And there were a few people that went by the wayside. I mean, for instance, Randy Goodall. You remember Randy, don't you? He was in Split Ends.
Yes, I do.
You remember him? The tight pants in that. Remember his? Anyway, you remember him. He joined us and played Dr. Frankenstein in 2019 at the studio. Yeah. And then he disappeared during COVID and never came back. And we lost a few like that. I think people just forgot to go back to their old lives once lockdown ended. Yeah. And it did a lot of damage to the arts. I think we're just about finding our feet again now, really.
What would you say in the theatre world has been your biggest success?
For me, it's Masquerade. It was a labour of love, that. But also I directed The Crucible, And our Frankie, remember our Frankie, little Frankie,
Yeah.
who's now nearly 20 and driving, and
Jesus.
she was 13 at the time. Excuse me. She was 13 at the time, and I said, "Will you take a?" I don't know whether you know the Crucible well, the Salem witch hunts. I said, "Will you take one of the girls who?" All these girls in Salem were going, witch, just pointing the finger to call, and they were hanging them as witches, just on the say-so of kids. So I said to Frankie, will you take one of the girls for me? She said, oh, okay then. I didn't realise, because I directed it in drama school and I'd forgotten the names of the characters. I'd given her the main young girl, Mary Warren. And she went, Dad, what have you done? But she did it, and she did it brilliantly.
Did you take it and ran with it?
Yeah, but she never came. Adam had to strangle her and throw her to the floor, and Lisa was going to get up and punch him because it was so convincing. Her mother was going to kill him. But she never did it again. I think me giving her too big a part. But that, and I think Blythe Spirit, because the set was brilliant. But the bigger one really was we did a production of Mice and Men in 2020. It was 2020, just before lockdown, I think, or sometime around then, and that sold out. That sold out 3 performances.
Wow, it's a good story of Mice and Men. It's good.
Yeah.
It is, and we had to. Junior Davis, I take it.
I do. Yeah.
You need a black guy in it, and you need to. And every night I had to stand up in front of the audience and say, "Look, I'm sorry, you're going to hear language here that's of its time, like the N word, and women were really the woman, and it was really, really disparaged by the men." You're going to hear this, and it's of its time. It's how it was written. We're remaining true to the story. We're not trying to offend. But I mean, the first person to say the N-word was Junior himself, because the character refers to himself as that,
So what's next with VML then?
What's next? We're in the Priory, Norton Priory, on the 21st of July, 21st of July, for 2 performances of Waiting for Godot. Theatre of the Absurd, right? Have you ever seen Waiting for Godot? Do you know of it?
No.
It's basically it's a 2 main characters. There's Vladimir and Estragon, and they're just in a field by a tree waiting for this guy called Godot to turn up, and it's how they muse over their life and various things like that. They call it Theatre of the Absurd because at the end of the play, not a lot has happened, but everything has happened at the same time, and it's up to the audience to interpret what they think's gone on. When you did one of your podcasts for a little bit of a promo, you said we're going to see Macbeth, and you're interested as to whether we remain true to it or whether we put our spin on it. VML will always remain true to the classics simply because that's what I want to do, and I started it. I think somebody has to keep it going for future generations and make it accessible to people who can't afford to pay 70, 80, 90 quid a ticket to see it in other theatres,
I was actually only saying to Lou a couple of weeks ago, I know VML's been around for a while, but you don't really notice you much, do you know, what's the word I was looking for? Advertising and stuff.
No,
so
and
you can tell that you've got a solid following.
Yeah, but the thing is as well that you were saying what's our greatest successes. That's probably one of my greatest failures. I'm rubbish at promotion. And we have to find a new way because people see it on Facebook and that. We've got a really good website. People see all that. But unless you're promoting in a different way, we need to sort of think of different ways to start growing the audience now that we're back firing on all cylinders. But
hopefully we can help you with that.
Yeah.
What we're doing should help with that.
Well, yeah, I'm not, and similarly, I'd like to help you. You know me, Mike. I've always been into collaboration. That's why I involved Split Ends and West Bank Drama and all them in the first thing I did when I wanted to get out there, and we're still doing it. I mean, I collaborate with the Studio and Witness. We collaborate with Norton Priory now, and we purposely don't take any of the ticket sales for that. We do it to create new audience for ourselves. That's a good way of promoting. A good way of promotion for us because new people are seeing us that wouldn't normally come to see us this end of Runcorn. And we just collaborate with a lot of people, and I'm happy to do that. But that's one of the things I'm proud of VML. We do it the right way. From day one, we've constituted. We've got articles of association. We've got what they call the Memonarch, the memorandum. Everything is set up perfectly, registered with the Charities Commission, registered Companies House, so that we kind of, so everybody with a professional entity, and that's what I wanted. So the word amateur really kind of it's not really. We're trying to be as professional as we can within the bounds of of community theatre, because somebody's got to keep the classics alive. I think
they do.
There's a place for everybody. Somebody's got to do the fresh written stuff. Somebody's got to do the good comedy. Somebody's got to keep the classics alive. So so we found a niche really, and I think in that sense, BML.
I was just about to say thank you very much for joining us, Rob. We really appreciate finding out about everything that is VML, and we look forward to watching the rest of your shows that you put on.
Yeah, seeing as you're doing such a good job in promoting people, I think it's only fair that you should have a couple of VIP tickets for our 30th of September show. So what I'll do is I'll message you nearer the time and put them behind for you.
No worries, mate.
And you can do it that way. We'll support each other along the way.
That's what it's all about.
It is. It's good talking to you both.
Yeah, you too, mate. No worries. Cheers, mate.
Okay, speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was an interesting conversation.
It was.
It was. We covered a lot of stuff there.
That absolutely flew.
Yeah.
That time.
It did. Like 40 minutes. We could have literally spoke for another 15, 20 minutes, I think.
It was like a font of knowledge, wasn't it? Like, so much to say. And
I reckon VML is definitely doing the right thing. I mean, to be going as long as they have been going. And like I said to Rob then, I don't really see them advertising that much, but yet they're still selling tickets, they're still relevant, they're still
like
going.
in a good way. They don't need to, because they've got that following.
Really good.
Hopefully
that will be us one day. Maybe not. I just like doing this.
I just like getting us around.
Just like doing this.
No, it's very good. So first guest done. Tick.
Let's see how it edits.
Oh, I hope it does.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
Do we need to say something about the video quality?
Yeah, so
we've had a blip, and we did say that we would be honest with everything from the start.
So we started recording on this, but then about 18 minutes into the conversation, this stopped. So
now we're on that.
So now we're on the computer. So if our video resolution is a bit rubbish, it's because technology failed us tonight. We're just going to go with it, release it, and we're just going to use it as a learning curve and carry on.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do.
How very British of you.
Yes. Skip up a little.
Yes, we carry on. So but you know what? These things happen.
They do.
And that's all we can do.
Yeah.
So next guest will be...
We've got Mike Perks next week from Soup Productions. He'll be here to tell us everything that is soup.
That is soup. Soup the loop.
Mm.
So it was good having someone on there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I quite enjoyed it actually. Makes you change us not talking.
Is it? I was thinking, as he was talking, I was like, it's so nice just to listen.
I know, just to listen. Yeah.
But it was good. Yeah. Thank you, Rob, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
No worries. Take care,
Thanks
everybody.
so much. Bye.
See you later.